Chamtrul Sembrando bate da dhamchen darsha se namo arya dambal hai ke talo dando jenke chum da dam me ke nam da ndo kunje der ke jisam Okay, again, English on the first page, the generation Bodhicitta, 3 times only. May all beings enjoy happiness and the causes of happiness. May all beings be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May all beings never be apart from the supreme bliss which is free of all suffering. May all beings live in the great equanimity, free from the attachment and aversions that keep some close and the other distant. May all beings enjoy happiness and the causes of happiness. May all beings be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May all beings never be apart from the supreme bliss which is free of all suffering. May all beings live in the great equanimity, free from the attachment and aversions that keep some close and the other distant. May all beings enjoy happiness and the causes of happiness. May all beings be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May all beings never be apart from the supreme bliss which is free of all suffering. May all beings live in the great equanimity, free from the attachment and aversions that keep some close and the other distant. Yeah, good evening. Welcome everybody for this second part of these topics. So on this topic, as you know, the topic is the view, the meditation, the conduct, and the result according to the of Buddha Dharma. So we having gone those first 2 stages. The view we mentioned yesterday, all the phenomena are apparent illusory, because the origination is interdependently originated. Therefore, the nature of the phenomena are emptiness, and the emptiness is as apparent of illusion. The apparent illusion nature is as empty. That means is the true truth of conventionally apparent and the truth of ultimately are one test, only different aspect. That is the view, the authentic, the perfect, the view or nature of phenomena. And then the second, we mentioned the meditation, because meditate means is to be familiarity about of your learned, or what about you understanding the important view, which is the wisdom and great method of compassion. Again, your meditation must be cultivated on the focus of these 2, become one test, and the wisdom and compassion, the union, wisdom, compassion, that is the meditation we mentioned yesterday. So now we further, the next stage is the conduct. So that means is the view when you are having decided 100% sure better of your investigations, analyticals to analysis, and then during the equipose meditative concentration, means during the sitting meditation, as much you can focus on the nature of phenomena emptiness. But we cannot do very long the sitting meditation. So therefore, it's more important that during the post meditation, means is walking time, another thinking time, or something, it's eating time, no more sitting time, or no more, so many different activities. During that times, how we cultivate your mind on the of the appearance of the reality, which is the conventionally everything as an illusion. The three spheres apparent of object, subject, and any kind of the active itself. The actions are just illusorily, but the interdependently addressing them. So this is just positive meditation. But during the positive meditation is also very important. We need to know how to how keeping the ethics, the morality, conduct, or applying with of the excellent the behavior, or we can say conduct. We can say also action. Because actions can be comes from the depend our body, our speech, and our heart. So the three doors can be is of the source of three different kind of actions. So the conduct we can say, but the conduct, the action, actually we can also divide and briefly into. There's three different kind levels, which is the positive action and negative action and equanimity or it's neutral actions. There's three. That is also similar as as karma. We're talking Sanskrit from Sanskrit language, karma. Karma is literally on Tibetan say lay, and lay means is literally on English that it becomes action. Action must be dependent to the motivation, the beings, sentient beings motivation. Without any motive or motivation, and then we can't say action. When they're moving the leaves, the branches, flowers, the fruits from the tree, but that is not action. That's just motion, just movement at the moment better of the temperature or the airs or something is the windies. But that's not moving better of energy with of the consciousness or with the motivation, because those solitude objects have no motive. But sentient beings motion is not only just motion, that is must be action, because the sentient beings action is created depend very much to the internal the motivation. So therefore the projecting motivation is as positive, and then the action must be positive, and the projection, the projecting the motivation is as a negative or disturbing emotion, and then this projected action is also become as negative, and then the motivation is not positive and not negative, and then the action is also neither no of the positive and of the not of the negative. Positive both. It's equanimity, become equanimity action, neutral action. So that's generally we're talking about karma, because this is very important to understand, because everything what we're having experiencing today means in the moment of the present moment, what we're experiencing, happiness, experiencing with of sufferings, or experiencing of neutral feeling, both are dependent to the of our past actions and our previous actions. If there's no created any kind of no accumulated any kind of actions during the past life or the past time, and then cannot suddenly experiencing of both positive the happiness or sufferings, no possible. Causelessly, automatically cannot. The reason because the happiness, experiencing happiness and sufferings are not necessarily depend to the cause and conditions, then why not at the same day everybody can experience happiness, or at the same day and same time moments everybody become experiencing experiencing sufferings? Why not? But someone can experiencing an earlier and someone's later after of the sufferings. Someone is experiencing more happiness earlier and sometimes later after later will be experiencing. So they have different times, different stages. That is the details. The answer is only because depend to the the red cause and dependent to the favorable conditions, yet not completed, and then cannot repent the experiencings. When they complete it, the needed actual cause conditions, and then can be experiencing the repent result, both either of the happiness or sufferings, so on. So this is natural answer. Everything depends to the similar cause and similar conditions. So therefore, now we're going to a little bit talking the action according to the especially in the Dharma practitioners' action. We say the non-violence conduct is. We said the conduct can be, and bravely say, violence conduct and non-violence conduct. So non-violence conduct must be of the Dharmic conduction, or the Dharmic conduct, or Dharma practitioners. And the violence conduct must be something is non-Dharmic, or maybe that is not Dharma, the part of Dharma practitioners, the violence, But little bit complicated to distinguish which is violence conduct and which is a non-violence conduct is a little bit harder to distinguish. But generally, we mentioned you depend to your view, the explaining. If your view I mentioned you like the pure view according to the worldly, the part of worldly view, and then your conduct also, and last you should be to know the 10 negative action is as violence conduct, violence conduct, the 10 negative actions, which is killing, stealing, sexual misconduct. These are the 3 negative actions comes from or depend to the physical or the body. And then as next is the lying, slander, harsh word or harmful speech, and also there's a missing one, maybe the creation, the discord, and chatters. These 4 negative actions comes from verbally or from the speech. And the last 3 of the 10 negative actions, which is covetousness, harmful thought, harming the harmful thought or harming mind, and holding wrong views. These are the 3 negative actions mainly comes from the door of our mind or our heart. So these 3 stages are, we can say, 10 negative actions. Then why that we recognize or we believe that is negative? Why can be that is negative? What is the reason? Because which action is positive, the action is negative, is the main point is depend to the experiencings when you creating about these actions, and also others, the people, the beings, how they're experiencing to this depend to of your actions, and finally, especially and depend to of the fully repent, the result from this action. The repent will be the performing, the effect is experiencing of the effect is as positive or happy enjoyment for everybody and nobody harming, and that must be dependent to the positive action, the positive virtue or the positive action will be performing the result happiness enjoyment. But in case some actions and performing directly or indirectly make sufferings, will be bring unpleasant feelings. That is the point, is that was the action is negative, because the experiencing is a suffering, it's an unpleasant feeling. Nobody want to experiencing unpleasant feelings and sufferings, but still it cannot sometimes be cannot stop. Should be experiencing comes from because our past misdeed action, so that is negative. So the 10 negative action always 100% sure if you judge carefully, if you research carefully to follow this course, and then performing the effect is sooner or later will be bring sufferings, directly or indirectly. Directly hurt or indirectly will be hurt yourself, and also directly or indirectly will be hurt to others also too. That's because negative action. For example, one we choose for these 10, the killing, the first very easy. We can see is killing is very harming, someone's life. There's no more than important to save the life of this life, but someone is hurt or cutting or destroy the life. And that is, of course, is negative. They are very painful, and painfulness, suffering, and panics, worries, for protection of the life, and about the loss of the life, he or her, so any beings. So this is very clear. So directly, the killing actions harming to others' life, suffering to others, but indirectly will be harming oneself, of the killer himself, is because this natural law, of course, an effect because by the negative action and creating into of the result is negative also, suffering will be, So this is just an example. And then stealing also same, and the sexual misconduct also same. Means is the by the force or raping or something, with the negative emotion. Can be these first 7 negative actions from body and from speech is very much created better of 3 poisons, any kind of 3 poisons mentally. Maybe main reason, for example, killing, the negative action killing, why? It can be sometimes better desire, the negative emotion, desire, very excess experiencing of desire, attachment comes and then to kill. And sometimes not only is the main reason is desire, but as aversion, anger is very strong, and anger, negative emotions, and then is there to kill one's own enemies, for example. And sometimes not really necessarily only the negative emotion of desire and anger, but the negative emotion of delusion or the ignorant. The ignorance, the ignorant and the misunderstanding, with the misconception, they believe is that killing is something, is the good active or something. They believe sometimes totally mistake that is a virtue, killings, If as much they can kill the other beings, animals or someone, then they believe that is virtues, but it totally is wrong. But why come this wrong view? Because they're falling extremes of the misconception, or misunderstanding, the ignorant. So therefore, is any kind of the negative actions must be depend to the source. The negative actions depend the source of the 3 poisons, any kind of the 3 poisons. So therefore, that kind of always a negative action. Or violence, that is the conduct, violence conduct, as a harming, as a violence. So in this way now, what is a non-violence? Non-violence conduct, the opposite of violence. So that means in briefly, in the worldly, the pure of Dharma, that means the pure view of the follower of the worldly, even the follow only part of worldly, still we should be to know as the non-violence conduct is as the opposite of the 10 negative actions. Actually, the virtue action, virtuous action. Virtue we can say just mere virtue and supreme or great virtue. So just when you understand the 10 negative, we mentioned to you the action is, that is very negative. So this will be harming directly or indirectly to others and to me. So therefore, I don't want, I must be to avoid such kind, as much I can, these 10 negative actions. Something if you promised or commitment from your heart deeply, that is just, coming the non-violence conduct is coming, performing. That is just mere virtue. We can say 10 mere virtues because you promised to avoiding 10 negative actions. That means it's 10 virtues, just 10 mere virtues, just. And then it's not only just 10 mere virtues, but on top, if you can cultivating on the opposite of the 10 negative actions, that is we say supreme 10 virtues or supreme or great 10 virtues. That means is on top avoiding killing to save others' life with, of course, motivation, compassion, and love and wisdom. And not only avoiding stealing, but on top is going to cultivate the activity with of generosity, with compassion, love, or giving. to support to other poor people, sickness people's illness, or whatever. And not only just avoiding the sexual misconduct and as cultivating the activity, the applying on the morality conduct, displaying very the perfect, authentic ethics, playing with the ethic, pure ethics. That is very supreme virtue. So these are the three. It's of course non-violence, but not only non-violence, but the opposite of the violence. So this is the non-violence conduct from body of Dharma practitioners, but not only necessarily that is from Dharma practitioners, but if someone follow after the footsteps of Buddha Dharma, and there should be try non-violence conduct and to avoid violence conduct of these three. And then is the another four we mentioned before from the speech, not only just avoiding lie or lying, but on top and to speak truth, truly. But this truth also is depend to the motivation. To telling truth means, but if motivation is wrong, if you tell truth, and that the truth is just reflection of virtue. But telling truth by the pure motivation to support somebody or to helping to somebody tell truth, and that is the real speak of the truth, the virtues actions, the supreme virtues actions. And then not only just avoiding the creating of discord, but on top cultivating the speech is on the reconciliation to other peoples, maybe to the couple problems or to the neighbor problems, family problems, or maybe village problems, or two different cities, two different countries, or so on. Whatever you have power, whatever you can do, something is a reconciliation to the two groups' problems, and that is very, very supreme virtues, very supreme virtues. And then not only just avoiding harmful speech or harming speech, but on top is to speak gently, to speak nicely, to speak candidly, with, of course, as important, the projecting motivation, as pure compassion and love and wisdom, mind, as a very supreme virtue. That is because non-violence conduct of speech, one of aspect. And not only just avoiding the chatter or the gossips or meaningless talk, but on top is to speak meaningfully, to speak, or something helpful, to talk, and they listens, can they understand the important things, how to support themselves and support to others, how to benefit themselves, how to benefit others, many things can understanding learned from them. So this kind of speech, of course, is meaningful talk, It's very, very supreme virtues, the non-violence conduct from speech. These four is from speech. And then the last three, the opposite of negative, comes from the heart. Not only just avoiding the covetousness, but on top is they meditate, or they practicing, or training with giving or generosity meditations. Not only just avoiding harmful thought, harming mind, but on top is training mind with the training of compassion, loving kindness, empathy, sympathy mind, or something, the pure motivations. And the last one, not only just avoiding holding wrong views, but on top is cultivating to holding of the right views, to fund the right views. We mentioned view already yesterday, we're not repeating again. So the pure view, to fund from the perfect logic through the perfect reasoning and one's own perfect, authentic the analysis, investigations to analysis which is a necessary abandonment action, which is a necessary engagement action for benefit yourself, for benefit other sentient beings. So, this is then you found the right view is coming, the pure view of worldly, or the pure view of beyond part of worldly, or so on, we mentioned yesterday. So anyway, that is very, very great virtues, supreme one of the great virtues. If
You can your mind cultivating on the holding to the pure view, because the pure view is undeceptive object of knowledge. This knowledge will never deceiving to you. Will never. Ours can be virtues of begin, virtues of the middle, and the virtues of the end. In the end, in the middle, in the of begin, ours is virtues. Means ours is non-violence. Ours will be make peace or something, happy enjoyment, because the view is pure. Projecting view is pure. So anyway, that is the normal, what is we understand, which is violence, which is non-violence. And briefly, the 10 negative action is violence conduct, and 10 virtues action is as non-violence conduct. So this not only comes from a religious talk, not only Buddha Dharma, even non-traditional, if you are like totally non-traditional, but you see if you have good law of a country, something, so 99% is, I'm sure, is most countries' law is good, but you see, if you go, your activity from bodies, physically, verbally, mentally, on the 10 negative actions, most, if you're spending, and then what do you think? It's illegal. Your country's law, you broken your country's law, I'm sure. Like killing, to kill somebody, stealing, you can see, to rape, the sexual misconduct, I'm sure it's destroyed to couple, family, so on. So it's very clear, it's this illegal, lie, and it's very clear. Even that's not for only traditions, only for Dharma, not only for religious talk. And then the opposite, wherever, doesn't matter, whenever, if you can keep the body, speech, heart actions on the 10 positive, and that is non-violence conduct we mentioned, and that there's no need of police, as your heart is as a man head of police, your heart is as the protection, as a protector, for everybody. Nobody need to worry to you, nobody needs scared to with you, nobody something feel uncomfortable with you. There's no reason, because you are as a very non-violence conduct, the positive person. So therefore, why we need police? Police is almost around something. So people like to violence, contact. Those people we always need to looking and searching and carefully. And then it's the CC, the camera today we need to put everywhere, because those people is very danger. But if always everybody become non-violence contact, and there's no need to CC camera and there and here, no need police even, no need to soldier, army, so on. But this is very clear, but not easy, of course, unfortunately. So this is the problem. But anyway, whether it doesn't matter easy or not, but if you start to follow after the footsteps of Dharmic, activity, Buddha Dharma, and then we need to try, cultivating on these positive actions, and try as much you can and less negative actions. So this is the conduct, non-violence. But there's one thing still sometimes can be confusing for us, make confusing, bring the confusing to recognition, to distinguish which is violence, which is non-violence, just I mentioned in briefly, but sometimes, because it depends which level of your view, If only you focus your views on the of worldly, the pure of part of worldly, and then it's clear. The violence is what directly appears, and non-violence directly appears. That is only okay. That's enough. But if you are follow of the part of beyond worldly, means is the actual of like Bodhisattva's path or Mahayana traditions or Dharma Mahayana. And then it's more hard to judge which is violence, which is non-violence. Because the Mahayana tradition followers, we say, from the text they says. That means is if in case sometimes is necessary more benefit with some of the reflection of negative actions from body and from speech, could be some people, depend to some disciples, is more helpful than of the positive actions, you know. So, and this kind is difficult, make us confusing, you know. It's hard to recognize which is violence, which is non-violence. The first 7 I'm talking that among the 10 negative actions, like killing, we just choose one example, was the Bodhisattva, the past of Shakyamuni, Buddha yet not attainment Buddhahood, as calling is the compassionate, the Bodhiman. He was born in the Bodhiman, you know. The Bodhiman is a very compassionate Bodhisattva. Bodhiman was the Buddha Shakyamuni, is the one of the historical of the past life during the path of Bodhisattvas. This because these stories many times oftenly talking, so I think most of you know, that's why I just quoted this story. And this Bodhiman, and with the other 500 the Mahayana practitioners, like let it be, they're going to getting the jewels from ocean, you know. But in these 500, there's one person is a very bad one, you know. He want to kill all these 500 the companions of this on one ship, you know, because he want to belong himself all these jewels, you know, many jewels they get from the jewels here from the take from ocean, they come back very hardly. So they finally he want to belong himself alone only. He doesn't want to share all the together 500 people. So therefore he decided he want to kill these 500 people. But the Bodhiman, the compassionate one of the Bodhisattva, the Bodhisattva, the Bodhiman, he understand is they are going, this situation comes, what becomes. And then he want to do something, you know, what to? I can just leave the chance to kill all these 500, or I will kill this bad person before to kill other 500 people. That is the options only. And then the Bodhiman, the compassionate Bodhiman, he decided, he first to kill this person, the bad person. But then why he going to killing? This is very negative. He is the follower of part of Mahayana tradition. He is one of war holder, the internal of course on top the external Vinayana, Bodhisattva's vow, but the refuge vow, Upasaka vow, but internal also is Bodhisattva's war holders. He is the follower of Mahayana traditions, the Bodhiman, the compassionate of Bodhiman. But then is the killing is usually, you know, we're talking now, is very negative, isn't it? Especially to kill human being. It's very, very great one negative of killing, to kill human. But he decided 100% from deeply his heart to kill this bad person before to kill other 500 people. But now we need to check his motivation. Why he decided this choose? Because he doesn't care himself without any hesitations. Maybe he constantly can be falling in the hell realm himself because he broken, looks like, sound like because he killed is somebody, one human, you know, and because his vow is avoiding killing, but he killed. So probably, but he doesn't care himself because he only with the compassion and better the motivation, pure motivation, he want to see both of the 500 peoples and this bad man also too. That what means is to see the bad man going to kill. That means is it one is the benefit is that the bad man to see immediate next rebirth falling in the hell realm. Because if he didn't kill him before to kill 500 people, and then this person will be immediately next rebirth as falling hell realm. According to the Buddhist of the nature law, of course, effect, because the other 500 is a human. Not only human, but is the Mahayana tradition followers. Is something very great persons, all those supreme peoples, and to kill this, and then there's no doubt it's an immediate next rebirth falling directly in the hell realm. So he cannot bear. So he must be responsibility to save this bad person to falling immediate next rebirth in the hell realm. That's one compassion to this person. And the others, of course, we can see that to save the 500 people's life. You know, not only normal people, also like Bodhisattva, Mahayana tradition followers. So therefore, he doesn't care himself. Without any hesitation, he killed. So it looks very negative, isn't it? So it's very negative. But it's, in fact, is very, very supreme virtues. He accumulated lots of, during the represent, this is, can be instated to the accumulation of merits for kalpas, during kalpas, and during these moments one bad man killed he, you know. So this is just an example among the 10 negative actions like killing. And so therefore hard to judge. We say he is, you know, is going to negative the violence conduct or non-violence. Looks is violence because killed, but in fact is non-violence because his motivation totally pure wisdom and pure compassion without any hesitations himself, had no specific attachment and no aversion to them, only compassion and love and wisdom for equally both. So that is, so this example. Then similarly, like this way, can stealing sometimes, can sometimes is like sexual misconduct, sometimes can lie, and can harsh word, you know, can even the creation of discord, can, you know, with compassion, love and wisdom if necessary, you know. One bad group and one good group. If then is the bad group is very strong, the negative group is more strong, and then the positive group is very weak. If there are comes relations, and then it finally can see the positive one is dissolving into the of the negative group. It will be both is negative, and then better is it makes, you know, the discord, speak and separate. So this come, but also important wisdom. Even your motivation is pure, but as your wisdom is not pure, then sometimes it doesn't work. Accident, you know, and then problem, you know. So this you must be to know before if that behavior is good or does work, will be work or not, is you should be to know by your wisdom mind, clearly judgment, you know, not enough only pure motivation, but the wisdom and pure motivation together, and that does work, you know, can help, nobody harming, only help. So therefore is the first, the 7 negative actions sometimes can be apparent just reflection of negative, but in fact is very positive, because he or her projecting motivation or achieving motivation is as totally compassion and wisdom, that is without any hesitation. So that just make us sometimes confusing the Mahayana traditions, but very rare these kind of actions to use, but it can be sometimes like the example I mentioned you. This has happened. Then of course, if you go to the Mahayana, there's Sutra and Tantra. Even I'm talking this just a quote from Sutra. Just I quote before. That's just we explain now. This is from only Sutra of Mahayana traditions, practitioners. It's Buddha's permissions, it's possibilities. These 7 negative actions, just reflection can be sometimes, you know. But this tells us even positive also sometimes could be just reflection of positive from this we mentioned in the supreme 7 positive actions from your body, your speech, because depend your motivation. Like to save others' life. Actually saving others' life is very positive, right? We mentioned you, supreme virtue, the opposite of killing. But why you save this person? Why you save these animals, for example? Why are you releasing these animals? The questions. Then the answer is must be from your motivation. Comes. If your motivation is only compassion and is the intelligent or wisdom mind only without any hesitation, then of course that is there's no questions. Already that's pure. But in case your achieving motivation or projecting motivation is as maybe is some desire, attachment, or aversion mind, something, or ignorant, something with, like, you know, many people like we taking care very nicely and kindly, like the pigs, chickens, you know, so and generally the business way, you know. But that motivation is not the taking care of the pigs and the chickens, that and directly they will be taking care of themselves. The end they want to kill, make feed, good feed. So this kind is just reflection at the moment, is not really actual, it's a virtue. That is just reflection of virtue. Similar is sometimes the country to country, the war, and then they sometimes sit, some people, the armies, soldiers, but the sit means is they want to use something is the wrong actions next time, something extra. So this kind of all is 10 among the 10 negative actions. First 7, the positive, the 10 virtuous actions. First 7 can be sometimes just reflection, but actually is negative because it's projecting is wrong motivation. So that's why a little bit complicated we judge to Mahayana tradition followers. Is we can't say 100% sure negative. Also, we can't say 100% sure positive action from body, from speech only. So a little bit hard to research. It's possibilities, And then, of course, is Mahayana Tantra. Oh, then more complicated, to distinguish which is positive, which is negative, which is correct or which is incorrect, which is very, very difficult. Tantra is skillful method. The view is more deeper, more vast, more extensive than even is the Mahayana of Sutra. So therefore is the conduct also very skillful. The method is very skillful. Any kind of conduct can be, any kind of the behavior can be into of method for training mind or for practice, for purifications, for realization, for benefit. There are no specific options only. If you are real, authentic, something is a tantric practitioners. And then everything can be transforming or bringing or taking into the path of your liberation. So that is why it's more confusing. Not only positive action, even negative action from body, speech can bring into the path of liberation. So this is very complicated, So, therefore, anyway, but however, rather doesn't matter. We need to know is one's own motivation. Then there's no need to worry. If you're projecting achieving motivation is as compassion and pure wisdom, and then any kind of your actions, 100% sure, become into the virtues. That is clear. But our motivation is wrong, and then rather what is showing from external actions, from physically and verbally looks very nice, very gentle, very kindness, very positive, but it maybe can be sometimes unfortunately just reflection of positive, because the motivation is you want to something is control them, maybe you want to stall them, you want to rape them, or maybe something you want to cheating them, So how can you cheating other people? You must be first gently speak, nicely talk. That's the way, But otherwise, you very, wrathfully, some speak and then cannot cheating other people. They already something, is wrong going. But it's nicely, gently speak over and over, and then it can, can attack your heart, to them. This is the method how to cheating. So therefore, heart we say is this gentle speak is a virtue or really is or as a non-virtues. His motivation. So therefore, if you have clairvoyance, can read others' motivation, or you are very good judgment, perfect valid cognitive logic followers, then possibility can check others' actions. But in that text, there says, who is really something is the Bodhisattvas or noble being, supreme being, as you can judge, you can decide it from his positive action or something that says, but this condiment is you cannot decide it he is or he or she is negative. The verse is the something is the wrong actions going, because the hidden motivation we cannot read. This is the problem. So anyway. The action we're talking now is the from the worldly actions depend to the of the Hinayana, Mahayana, and Sutra Mahayana and Tantra of Mahayana. All is a little bit different, the behavior or the contact, but is main motivation is everybody same sense of beginning until of top of the up to of the Tantra is motivation you cannot change. Even Tantra, you can use many of the something normal change the actions into the path of liberation, but your motivation you cannot change. Always with wisdom, pure wisdom, and with pure compassion. That is the main method. So it's important we need to check our motivation and our the wisdom, and then there's no problem. Otherwise it's a problem. So therefore in the Buddha Dharma that says if you follow Dharma, and you must be relying on the four aspects, the four possibilities, which means it says of course you need to very beginning rely on the of your teacher, somebody's talk like Dharma talk, but Buddha says rely on the he or her teachings, not very much to rely on the of person. Person doesn't matter, man and woman, or as lay practitioners, or as fully ordained, or it doesn't matter who is Western or Eastern. So it doesn't matter. This is not relying on the person, but relying on the person's teachings. If you really want to practice, this is very important, because many people that doesn't follow on the person's teaching, but they follow to the person. Person is famous, or very something well known, or very something fame, and around many people, and sitting on a very high throne, or something wearing very strange hat, and looks, wow, that must be a very high lama, high teacher or something. Sometimes it can be both, as an author and everything, but that is not the logic, That means is you only is go to this way. That means you are following extremes, relying on the person. You're not following on the teaching, So Buddha says relying on the teaching. Doesn't matter person what kind appears, His speech, his teaching is logical, reasonable, and perfect, excellent. That you need. You need learning his teachings, or Buddha's teachings. We need to understanding. So that is enough. Doesn't matter person is what kind. But otherwise, if you doesn't follow his teachings, only you follow on the persons, and then the happened problem coming will be. That's one of these four reliance. Four kind of different aspects of reliance. So relying on the teaching, but not relying on the person. Okay? And the teaching also, the second aspect of reliance is relying on the also teaching, not relying on the of world, but relying on the meaning. Word means very poetry or something, sound very nice or gentle or something is a kindness speech, something comes, comfortable feeling when you hear, everything's very, but not too much relying on the word. And you must be relying on the meaning, of the teaching. That's the second. And the third aspect of relying, even the meaning also relying on the of definitive truth teaching. Buddha says not relying on the of expedient truth, because Buddha's teaching, Dharma teaching can be two truth. One is expedient truth, teachings of expedient truth, one is definitive truth. Because expedient truth is telling something wrong, not direct the point. So therefore can be sometimes you have mistake, can be is misunderstanding, can be sometimes confusing for you. So therefore important to find the essential point meaning, the definitive, the truth, the reality, the direct point meaning, exactly what that is. So therefore, says Buddha, the third reliance, the aspect of relying on the of definitive truth, not relying on the of expedient truth. And the last one, the fourth, even the definitive truth, Buddha's teachings, say relying on the primary wisdom mind, not relying on the ordinary's wisdom or ordinary's mind. So that's the final. But very beginning we are ordinary, must be relying on the ordinary's wisdom. But finally, is relying on the extraordinary primordial wisdom, not relying on the ordinary mind. Because ordinary mind still with the ignorant, still is with the obscuration of delusions and obscuration of karma, so obscured to the nature wisdom, so not pure enough to understand the reality completely. So that's therefore you cannot reach a final state if you not change ordinary mind. Finally, I'm saying, So therefore, final stage is relying on the wisdom, primordial wisdom mind, not relying on the even ordinary mind. So these 4 stages very important. We step and step to know, But of course, very beginning is the Dharma practitioner is important to follow teacher, master we say. But master actually can be division into 3: external, internal, and the secret master. But the secret master is the final. Means is your heart is your master. Your mind is your master actually, should be. That is Buddha says, you are the master of yourself. What other master could there be do? Through coming yourself alone you found a master hard to find, says in the text, The external master is just at the moments, that's just teacher is as teacher, I mentioned yesterday, just hearing wisdom, how to collect it from them. And then you start to cultivating and the internal master, the contemplation, wisdom. And then to get certainty, born to realization, true nature. These all realizations comes from your heart. Not comes from the master's heart. Cannot. So therefore, you are the master of yourself. So Buddha Shakyamuni himself, he also said, I can show you path for liberation. But can liberate or not is very much dependent on your hand. He cannot do more than explanations. He cannot do more than to introduce to you which is abandonment, which is engagement path. He can explain the logics, the reasons. So all is the views, the path, the result. But after he completed 2 explanation for us and then can liberate or not, that's up to you. Buddha cannot do more than any. Buddha says he cannot washing, with the water pot and your negative, the stance of the obscurations cannot. He cannot move from the wrong place to the right place by his hand, Also he can say he cannot transfer his realization directly to the disciple's heart. It cannot. He said, and then maybe you feel, okay, then our Buddha is useless. Maybe you feel. Because he cannot do any. So why are we taking refuge on Buddha, Dharma, Sangha? And then the 4th line says, not Buddha completely useless. Okay? He is very useful because he's teaching. If you're learning, if you're studying, if you judge, if you check, finally if you found the certainty, the born your heart is the conviction is you born from your heart deeply, and that can liberate for you, bring liberation. That can enlightenment is coming. That will be bring the result. Today we go in the last part is the result is coming. Final result is coming. But can or not is depend very much on you, your heart. But however, as a beginning, of course, you need to find, if someone you are traditional way, follow of Buddha Dharma, then important, or for even the external teacher also beginning, rely on the perfect teacher, or authentic, to find authentic teacher. So therefore in the text sometimes they say, Tangpo Lama Talang Kipa, Parta Lama Tinlang Kipa, Tama Lami Gonsho Labla Kipa, the 3 stages how to follow teacher. That means is in the beginning, you should be important to skillfully examine the teacher beginning, to find the right teacher, to check, to research, is okay or not, to follow him or her, So that means is in the beginning, skillful examine the teacher. And then if you decided, okay, it's fine, these teachers for me, his wisdom, his compassion, his behavior, everything is compare me is higher, his qualities. So it's okay. something if you feel, and then you found, if you decided the right teacher, and then the second is in the middle, so carefully follow the teacher. When you already decided, then, but up to you, as your choose. You follow them or not. It's beginning when you research. And then when you decided, and then don't be again and again over and over judge, check too much to your teacher. Because if you too much judge to your teacher continuously, then even if your teacher is a real Buddha, still sometimes you can mistake from Buddha's actions. You can see some faults comes from Buddha. This happened. Was Shakyamuni Buddha in Bodhicitta in India? There's his brother, I think, is the younger brother. It's 25 years followers to Buddha Shakyamuni, listening, teaching, attended to the Buddha Shakyamuni. But he's actually smart, generally I'm saying, worldly. It's a good memory. He can memory all the almost Buddha's talk. But just only the word, the wisdom of the hearing wisdom he collected, but not contemplation, not meditate, not training his mind, only with wrong view, holding. So he always hold wrong view to the Buddha's activities. Finally, he thought very arising negative of pride, emotion, and pride, arrogance. He thought, okay, now Buddha has very become famous. Everybody follow to him. But in fact, it's not much different than himself, he thought. Because Buddha would talk, now he can talk. He has a good memory, He already 25 years listening over and over Buddha teaching. Now he always hear, that I know, But he didn't practice, he didn't training his mind. He cannot follow Buddha's, the humbly of Mahayana way, or even Dharmic way, not good. So, and holding wrong views. So he decided, he thought, Buddha can talk, I can talk Buddha's word talk, the Dharma, so we are same equal. And then he himself, of course, know is the negative emotion, sometimes the desire, sometimes the excess experiencing of anger, aversion, sometimes the jealousy, or sometimes, but he also considered to Buddha also can have sometimes a desire, sometimes is the jealousy. That is his mistake, his misjudge to Buddhas. Because that I mention you, because in Mahayana, the first 7 actions can be reflection of both positive or negative, If you doesn't know Buddha's quality, if you doesn't know Buddha's pure wisdom, compassion, motivation, and then only Buddha's activities, external actions sometimes make you confusing, like this person was confusing. Then he thought, I have many wrong actions, but he thought, then it's equal quality Buddha and himself. The faults is equal, so quality is equal, he thought. So no difference, the pride is come. So Buddha's activities can be, in briefly, we can say there's 4 types, different kind of activities. Peaceful activity, the pacifying activity, increasing activity, and then is magnetizing activity, or like gravitating, and then is the destroyer or destroying activity, or we can sometimes maybe we can say what's name how same this I can't remember English, but that's destroying activity. Anyway, wrathful activity or wrath activity. There's 4 kind of activities. But any kind of rather doesn't matter, peaceful activity or kind of like wrathful activity. But someone's heart, he or her heart is full compassion, full pure compassion and full pure wisdom, and that is only is positive. Everything is positive. But sometimes it's necessary, like peaceful activities, pacifying like disease, illness, sickness, or something is the sufferings or many obstacles of the various of the obstacles, of the troubles of the world, and try make many different methods, many techniques with the peaceful activity can help. But if this doesn't work enough, sometimes only peaceful activity, and then they're using increasing activity, the method. In the Tantra, sometimes in the mantra we say Shantang, Putang, Washang, Maraya Pet. That means is Shantang means is peaceful activity. Nadunji get Shantang Kuriyesoa. Sickness, disease, the harmings, Nadudun. You get the 5 fears, 5 different kind of fears, like from fire, earth, water, so on. This all is kind of dissipating, pacifying better this kind of method, this kind of techniques, this kind of we say Nadunjigen, Shantang Kuriya Soha. We mantra with reading, sometimes we sitting the Shantang Kuriya Soha. This peaceful activity, the pacifying activity, Shantang Kuriya Soha. Nadunjigen. And then Tsepsut Panjur Putang Kuriya Soha. Putang Sanskrit language, Putam or Putam Kuriya Soha. That means is the life, marriage, and then is the wealth, the economies, the possessions, extra. This all is some specific method from Buddha's activities can increasing to benefit to sentient beings, to benefit sentient beings. So, Tsepsut Panjur, Putang Kuriya Soha. That is the increasing activity, Buddhas. And then, Tsepsut Panjur, Shantang Putang Washang. That means is not Dunji Shantang Kuriya, Tsepsut Panjur, Putang Kuriya Soha. What does I'm wrong? Not Dunji Shantang Kuriya, Tsepsut Panjur, Putang Kuriya Soha. Or Shantang Putang Washang. Means is the what we mentioned before, magnetizing, the magnetizing actions. That is can be like controlling, but not hesitations, the motivations, only attitude to benefit to the country, to the people, to the sentient beings, and then therefore need to control of those distraction mind, those of the negativities, actions, or those beings, need to control and leading into the of right path and to stop of wrong path, So this kind is Washang Kuriya Soha, say. And then the last one is No Shit Dabgak Maraya Pet. One is half is Tibetan and one half is Sanskrit. We together when we puja prayer sometimes say No Shit Dabgak. No Shit means is harmful beings, harming beings, something. No Shit. And Dra means enemy. And Gag means is like demons, or some nangas or ghosts, the harmful spirit or so on. Anyway, the obstacles when disturbings, something comes, cannot damage, cannot control better peaceful activity, cannot control increasing activity, even cannot of the magnetizing. So the activities, if it cannot, it doesn't work, but still is the 4th options, the wrathful activity only. That is can control, because it depend the object, the disciples, different capacity, different capabilities, different level. So cannot one activities training all disciples, no possible. It's a depend. So therefore wrathful activities coming. So that's why even is a Tantra, even means is in the Tantra you can see peaceful deity and half peaceful deity, and there's a completely wrathful deity, can see. But that does not mean they are very angry, something. But the main projecting, achieving motivation is only compassion, great compassion and loving kindness to sentient beings equally, and pure wisdom. But the techniques, the method from physically and verbally appears as a wrathful activity, sometimes more useful than peaceful activity, depend on some of disciples or some followers. So, therefore, make us confusing, isn't it? So that is why Vajra Tantra is secret, we say. Samaya, Guhe Samaya. Guhe means is hiding. Something is hiding the object of the phenomena, this path. But that does not mean necessarily hiding for everybody. But if low capable people, low capacity, low karmic connections, if there's the low Delph faculties, not very shape faculties, not pure devotion is not enough, and then need hating them, need to secret for them because they're misunderstanding, they're confusing, and they're angry, they're upset, they're compelling, their argument or their abuse, to the of Tantra and the lineage and the master and so on. Right? So that is why Buddha says, that means why is samaya means is secret. Usually secret some with the faults. Like if this stored, is they have faults, right? I stored, so I must be hiding. It's secret, don't show everybody because this is not pure. But does not mean secret Tantra is like that. Tantra is most pure view, most extensive and profound. The finality highest, the skillful method for enlightenment, But therefore is the followers also need to more pure, authentic vessels, otherwise can't understand, can be confusing. That need to not public very much, the talk, the private talk is better, as successful, otherwise it's confusing, isn't it? So therefore, these kind of, the first 7 actions from body is difficult to say violence or non-violence, can be. I just today also kidding some my friend with just this conversation, but I'm saying, very famous the master, Telopa, Naropa, Marpa, Milarepa, this lineage, very really qualified scholar, learned, really achievement accomplished man state once lifetime. All these master, But if I'm just today, how is kidding, how is that true? Because Marpa, Milarepa, like you say, Telopa, Naropa, wonderful. But they are very wonderful. But if in case Marpa comes to your country, okay, in this century now, 21st century, to teach like Milarepa, how to teach, do you think wonderful for you? No. I think Telopa, Naropa, Marpa, all is now in the jail. Okay? In the jail, already in the prisoner. Excuse me, I'm saying this, but, that means is the vessels, they have not this knowledge to understand. But of course, those qualified masters, they know when is the right time is on or not. I'm sure if this 21st century they comes here, they doesn't use these techniques, Okay, don't worry. But just example, I'm saying, if the same techniques and same method, same like before, Marpa, how they shows to the Milarepa, if to do here in your country, of course, for good, to enlightenment, but even cannot relate it to 1 week together, no possible. Okay, so that means is depend everything. So therefore, if not good enough, really is the is how to take responsibility relationship between master and teacher. So both need to respect responsibility, not in love only by teacher or not only by the student, both. And then coming as the result, the benefit things is coming. Otherwise sometimes happened. Even perfect authentic teacher, but disciples not authentic, then again problem coming. Even is the disciples perfect qualified, but as a teacher is not perfect, then again happened problem, And of course, neither is nor of the teacher and none of the disciples perfect, and then is big problem, is it? So there are 4 possibilities I can say, both perfect and one perfect, and neither nor none. So this kind is, but especially the like highest Mahayana traditions, and then the Tantras is more, important to carefully to know, So just very common is fine. We're talking like 10 virtues, 10 non-virtues, or something external. Physically, there's no very confusing. It's everybody can accept easily, That's okay. That's nice something, But the other hand is a little bit difficult. So therefore, is very beginning. I mentioned it before. Says is the in the beginning. Skillfully examine the teacher, and when they decide it, and then is in the mentum on the middle, is skillfully follow the teacher. Doesn't matter what teacher says. Then when you decide, especially Mahayana traditions, because only you judge by your mind, that means you are teacher. Today teacher doing my master doing good, or today my master is doing wrong. Something is going wrong. If you know everything which is right, which is wrong, then you don't need to rely to this teacher, right? For example, many things is the extensive but vast, meaning you doesn't know. That's why we need to rely on the beginning external teacher. When you completed to understand everything from the hearing wisdom, and then you don't need to rely so much external. You need to rely, I mentioned you, the internal master or the secret master from your self-awareness, primordial wisdom. That is final master, then fine. But very beginning, we cannot. So therefore, it must be is the follow them. Then can get blessings, energies, powers. Like Milarepa, he did. Good job. So therefore, Milarepa, enlightenment, Buddhahood, and once left him. But he was very negative one, beginning. During more than the age of 20, something is more than 30 years. It's very negative. He killed so many beings by the black magic, you know. But finally, he met the authentic teacher, and he become authentic the vessels of the disciples. So he recognized, he believed, he trusts, rather doesn't matter what appears, the actions from physically wobbly from the master, you know. So that is why otherwise who can do building is the 9 stores 3 times for the son of his master. He doesn't teaching, also using very like harsh word, looks like, you know, sometimes almost a beating to Milarepa. Of course, for us, if using like this harsh word 1 time, then they disappear, sure. But lucky only just silent disappear. No, it's next day there was an abuse or something compelling to comes, right? So anyway, why I'm talking lots about this, but however, that's the nature my feeling comes, you know. Okay, so anyway, and then the end is what happens is now we're talking the result is this topic today. So this result is also really in these 3 stages I'm talking now, the in the beginning, in the middle, and in the end, the disciples is skillfully, you know, to amulet from the teacher's realization and teacher's contact. Yeah, amulet. Yeah, amulet is it's like copy, you know, copy for print, feed print, like, you know, it's an amulet. So that is a skillfully the finally, you know, in the end, amulet, you know, skillfully amulet to the masters, the qualified, the authentic teachers, realization and behavior or the conduct. These 2, you know, finally. That means you are become finally same the quality attainment of this teacher. Milarepa finally become attainment the same quality of Marpa. Marpa becomes same quality of Naropa, his master, and Naropa becomes same quality of his master Telopa, so on, from Indian master. It means all is in these lineage holders, the hard disciple followers become attainment state of Buddha Vajradhara, and the ones left him. It's just, you know. So therefore, they have many Buddha's teachings, have many options. That's why he training well Dharma of 84,000 collection. Well of Dharma is the options. We cannot practice, we can learning all of this detailment. We have enough the time and have no enough the knowledge to understand all, but some of them choose, but also you say maybe hard to choose. Therefore we need to rely on external teacher. You know, teachers show you the instruction, the essence, point, something, and then you look which is more suitable, which is more comfortable for you. You see is something which is more easy for you understanding, and then choose this one. You don't try everything what you hear from your ears, you know. Like in the big hospital, we need so many different kind of the pills, but you don't need to take all the pills, of course, then danger sometimes. It depends the patients, the sickness, illness. But we can't say one pills that is only best for everybody. Not. For you, this best one, but others is the other pills is more best, right? So even a restaurant, big restaurant, they have many options. But you don't try to take all these, that stomach ache maybe together, right? And choose one or two which is more good, more tasty for you. But first you need to let it be tested. Some of it each part, or maybe every day change once, and then finally you see, that one is I love, right? So like this is Dharma. So anyway, as Buddha says, is even if you couldn't do benefit, cannot do benefit to other sentient beings, at least do not harm nobody. That's the Dharma practitioner's sense of Hinayana and up to of Mahayana, doesn't matter, says if you cannot do even benefit much to other sentient beings, at least do not harm nobody. Try commitment, keep this precept in the heart. These can support to you and can support to others and can support to your practice and can progress. 100% sure. That is non-violence, contact with the Dharma. We're talking view, meditation, and contact. What is a contact? Contact is non-violence. That is, And then the final is then what happened if I formed red view, and then I do red meditation, and I would follow my contact is the non-violence, and then is what is the final result with the last one, effect or result, purpose, aim or goal, or effect. What is final? Actually depend also very beginning how you started from your view, your motivation, your wisdom, your behavior. So therefore we need to start very beginning. Yesterday told you if your view was started on the pure view of the path of worldly, that means is you believe natural law of cause and effect, karma of cause and effect. You believe virtue is as can be cause of happiness, enjoyment. Non-virtue is a cause of suffering. Therefore, you did the virtues as much you can. So these kind of the practice, meditations, the contact is leading you into. Of course, in this life, you are become good person, kindness person, enjoyment person, peaceful person, happiness person. Your life, long life, healthy life, or something. Anywhere, even physically sick, ill, but mentally can be peace. Okay, in this life. That's not only the result. But then immediate next rebirth, again, 100% can guarantee by this behavior of positive actions and leading you and the reborn higher fortune realm again. And that means you will be freedom from unfortunate lower realms, immediate next rebirth. Not only just you can be reborn higher fortune, but you are reborn a fortune family, in a fortune country. Or means you immediately next rebirth can joining your this projecting karma can be projected into the next continuously the same the culture or same lineage or same teacher or something can linking for the continuously the connections coming. That can progress life after of another life. Doesn't matter, takes how long to be completely enlightenment, Buddhahood. We have time to wait to enlightenment. That's because since we born beginningless in samsara, it's lost time, is it? So therefore, still is enlightenment. We have time to wait to comes enlightenment. So therefore, no need to worry, But however, so that is the worldly part of just virtues, action, and avoiding non-virtues. And these can help for this life. And then on top, some of you, your beginning, your view is like not only part of worldly, but is beyond part of worldly, means is like a Sharavaka traditions, or Patika Buddha's tradition, the Hinayana tradition followers, something. And then, of course, you need to generate your motivation, renunciation, not only for this life, but on top you need to start renunciations to of even samsara, the three secular existent, whether born on the bottom of hell realm or the top of existent, but still is including in the contaminated aggregates. Still is this projected by the contaminated karma. Therefore, still related to the kind of suffering in the lower realm, and the suffering of change in the upper realm, and the suffering of the all pervasive suffering, even the peak of existent. So have yet not completely pure, So still is a danger, as it can be sometimes from the peak, is falling in the hell realm. And hell realm beings can be as one day born at the peak of existence. That is the secular existence, the circulation we mentioned yesterday. So therefore, but this logic, reason, the understanding, the reincarnation and the law of cause and effect, they were for the renunciation at all of samsara, and they want to attainment state of nirvana. But this motivation to search the view we mentioned yesterday, not only is the holding the law of cause effect, but they found the view of the realization list, selflessness of person. So these can antidote to the obscuration of delusion, can cut delusion and ignorant, and then karma change, and then is the suffering change. Means is liberation is coming. That's the result. The second followers, the part of subsequent followers, Hirayana, solitary realization followers, they can liberation from samsara. Maybe it can be several lifetimes, takes 3 lifetimes or 7 or something, is more than 30, and then they can become arhat for destroyer attainment, means nirvana. There will be freedom falling extremes of samsara and suffering, but they cannot free the moment is falling extremes of nirvana. But not bad, it's good, very good, of course. Then they never is falling back again in the samsara with of ignorant, with of delusions, never. That is Buddha says nirvana is as peace always. So therefore I'm saying very nice, very good. But courage compared to the of Mahayanas, then still not very highest courage. It's a low courage. Confidence is not very high, because they cannot responsibility all sentient beings sense of the beginning generation, this mind until emptying samsara, themselves and run away from samsara and themselves reach and the ultimate peace. But they only can, of course, dedicate the compassion and love to equally all sentient beings, but not cultivating mind of enlightenment. This is the problem. Little bit problem means not really Mahayana, but still very beautiful, wonderful. So this is the result of this tradition followers. Your view, your conduct, your meditation, and then you will be attainment purpose of arhat. Okay, and then is your view is as beginning is not only to realization selflessness self alone, but on top selflessness of phenomena. You understand the origination of the all phenomena originated interdependently, sense of the gross level until subtle of even the particle and moments and particles are not established anymore as empty nature. Means is realization, selflessness, your view is of phenomena. And then your projecting motivation is also not only you want to run away from samsara, not benefit yourself alone, but your attitude benefit to sentient beings without any sessions. You want to attainment Buddhahood. So that is your view. So therefore, as your meditation is become very great perfection of wisdom, the union of great perfection of wisdom, realization, emptiness, and great perfection, the great of method of compassion of bodhicitta mind. So that is the chance you can collection merits and you can collection of wisdom both completely. So these two merits, two collection is as the causes for Buddhahood. Collection of merits is actual cause, and wisdom is the condition to attainment form body Buddhas benefit to other sentient beings. And the collection of wisdom is as actual causes, and the collection of merits is as favorable conditions for attainment state through the body for benefit yourself. So someone become Buddhahood with the two bodies, through the body and we say Dharmakaya and Rupakaya, these two form body. So these two bodies as different aspect but one union, one nature. Because what your view is also is a two different aspect but one nature. Because during the path your meditation also two accumulations is just different aspect but one nature, the merits and wisdom, the compassion and wisdom together. So therefore the projected result attainment also union of Buddha's truth body and form body benefit others and true body benefit yourself. So that's the final result comes, And therefore, first you will be, of course, need to passing with this view, with this meditation, with this conduct, gradually will be step and step leading into the path of accumulation, and through path of preparation, stay ordinary, and then you reach path of seeing, then you are extraordinary, become extraordinary. And after path of seeing, then stay continuously, you must be entered into the path of meditation, which is the second bhumi or second ground of path of Bodhisattvas until the 10th ground of Bodhisattva, the 9 stores or 9 stages. That is the path of meditation. Further. And then is last path is path of no more learning. That means is from the 10th Bhumi ground of Bodhisattvas further going to complete it, accumulation, merit, wisdom, and then will be attainment of a Buddha. That is path of no more learning. Because completely to be freedom, obscuration of delusions, obscuration of to the omniscient, better antidote of emptiness, recognition, selflessness person, and selflessness phenomena. So that's the Buddhahood, final result. So now questions, how takes long to be attainment of Buddhahood, for example? It depends. Again, it's depend your tradition, depend your lineage, depend of your behavior, depend of your motivation, depend your faculty, depend so many that depend, we can say. But it depends to the of yana, the vehicles, and then it's like the Hinayana vehicle is more fast, more quick, because that is not final place, only just temporary renunciation, temporary attainment, it's nirvana. So that is the arhat, it's more quick. Because the carrying is also not very heavy, the burden is, because behavior benefit himself almost alone to attainment. But Bodhisattvas, Mahayanas takes more long to attainment because it's very heavy, carrying the burden on the shoulder, because representing to benefit sentient beings, not himself alone. So carrying very strong so this is slow to move. So it takes. So that is the Shakyamuni Buddha was takes is 3 numberless eons to attainment of Buddhahood. But still don't worry, it's not very far. Because we already thousands, billions of times already training cycle existent more than the 3 numberless eons, So in future is 3 numberless eons, it's nothing compared of endless of samsara and sense from beginningless, isn't it? Then if you say, 3 numberless eons are too far for me, I cannot do. Then what you can do more some others? That's the questions. What you could do some more important things than this if you cannot waiting for 3 numberless eons? As normal? Okay, then birth, death, experiencing again and again and again, sometimes bottom, and sometimes top of the existence, that is the same. So therefore, better, rather doesn't matter how can you move and the state and beginning, your first feet step enter into the path of the perfect path. And then sooner or later and closer to the final your goal, final your aim, and final result. Of course, and then shortcut, very skillful, is some Mahayana method can be collection merits of 3 numberless, can be presenting in one's life possible. But especially Tantra, of course, some is the highest Tantra skillful method can for completed collection merits, wisdom during only one's lifetime, like Milarepa I mentioned you, can be. But also depend, So on. So therefore, anyway, is the virtues as always Dharma activity, the view, conduct, the pure view, the pure meditation, the pure conduct will be bring as a begin, at the middle, at the end, always virtues or happiness, enjoyment. That is never deceiving to you, will never deceiving to you. That is an undeceptive object of knowledge. 100% sure we can guarantee, we can say this. But sometimes followers' problem, that is the personal problem, not is the lineage problem, not the teachings problem. You important to distinguish. Something happened, the problem from the center or from the followers, but that times you don't say Dharma not good. Okay, you must be say this person or that person not good. You can say if you like, not very nice, but as you can say, the followers and the path is different. So and therefore that is today. Now with the end, we ending to complete all these 4 stages and briefly. So future further, I hope you can little bit research or check again and again, because these 4 stages very important for everybody. We are a human being, human mind, human brain, very clever, very intelligent. We can speak meaningfully and we can listen also meaningfully. We can judge meaningfully. So on. So therefore, it's just we bring just the key how to open or wisdom mind, or heart, or brain, how to open and to see many things, to let it be learned and starting to understand. This precious human birth is not easy to obtain again and again easily. So once opportunity chance we have, so to use this in the right way, can to benefit this life and again to further for future. So that is all. So now there's 15 minutes we have left for question answers. Anybody, if you have any questions? Yes, please.
I have 3 small questions. Can I ask at the same time? And then it's all about karma.
Okay, what is?
The first very simple one is that when you said the merits, that means the positive karma. That's one question, small. Other question is, does the mind activity alone can create karma without action, without speech?
Okay.
That's my second question. And my third question is, when we go from one life to other life, what do we bring in the, to the other life? Karma brings mind. So those.
Okay, so yes, the first question is yes. The merits, the virtue is as the merits, and merits means is a virtues, as that's same point. Okay, so virtues is at the causes of happiness and enjoyment. The merits is a collection of the merits, also can be causes of happiness, enjoyment. That is the same. Okay, but also depend different levels of the merits, how strong or pure or not so much. This is depend. On the other hand, that's one thing. And then is the second is or the mentally. Okay, so mentally, of course, most is the important is depend to the mental action. That is this we do the talking is not so much important what physically and verbally your actions, because if your mental is positive, then your physically whether what appears positive or negative, but can be positive. But if your mental projecting is as negative, and then what doesn't matter appears very nice or but not, but that is negative, transform into negative, So therefore, of course, Dharma is a Buddha says, commit no evils, engage as much in virtuous deed, subduing one's own mind thoroughly. This is Buddha's teaching. So that means is beginning he says commit no evils. That is because evil is at the causes of suffering. Therefore is nobody want to suffering. So therefore please do not. So commit no evils. And then engagement as much you can in virtuous deed, because virtue is the causes, the merits. What are you talking? The virtue and the merit is at the causes of happiness, the enjoyment. Everybody want to become happy, enjoyment. Now, if you ask, how can I collect a virtue? How can I avoid the no commitment of the evils? And then the third line say, subdue one's own mind thoroughly. That is the root. Subduement is what is the object of subduing? Oh, disturbing emotion mind, afflictive emotion mind, negative emotion mind, such as desire, anger, ignorance, jealousy, hatred, harmful thought, harming mind, pride, arrogance, miserliness mind, selfishness, greed, so many, right? Okay, this all is a subduing object. Buddha finally says, subduing one's own mind thoroughly. That is the Buddha's teaching, the point, purpose, benefit, transcendent being sense, beginning until or top of the Mahayana or so on. So that is. And then last, the third questions, yes. Actually, we mentioned yesterday a little bit, if you are there, the reincarnation. However, we are, according to the Buddhist point of view, anybody are reincarnated. Okay, born from past life, will be born again in another life after another life, till enlightenment continuously. That's have many reasons, but we don't ask me why. Okay, we have no time to explanation this reincarnation. But we want another topic. It's very important. But the reincarnation, how we to know, how do we believe we are reincarnated is this big subject. Anyway, your physical we see. This all is the 5 aggregates. Among that, the physical aggregates, the aggregate form cannot follow you in next rebirth, because that not comes from past life, only from parents, the lineage, the physically. But mentally comes from past life, so therefore can go into life after another life, the mind. That is or mind, the aggregate of consciousness is as the basics of reincarnation. Or the aggregates of consciousness is as the fundamental of person and of reincarnation. Okay, so these also make sure you know. But now questions then, okay, then who comes from past life and who going through as the consciousness? That's clear. But now your main point questions is the karma. So the imprint of your past action can stored on the stream of your mind. That we calling on the Sanskrit alaya. Alaya is on Tibetan kunji. Kun means all, je means fundamental or ground. So all of ground, like all the basics or something, basics of all or something. The kunja alaya, or best of all, we can say English. Our nature mind, the clarity awareness, nature, the continuity, the fundamental, the clarity awareness is mind is as the basis of all the imprint of our past actions. The imprint of your past actions can stream your mind. The imprint. The gross level action of your yesterday, what you did, already gone. Because yesterday is yesterday. That's not today. But the imprint of your yesterday action, whether you positive or negative, but stored on your heart today still. Whether you feel or not, but the imprint is stored on your heart. But one day will be complete, when they one day fully completed the conditions, and then the result is coming from this imprint will be ring. That's experiencing the contaminated result is coming from this contaminated karma. So karma stores the imprint of your heart. So therefore, it's one day even you can't forget in the moments, but that is Buddha says, karma committed will not be dissipated. That means stored imprint on your continuity of your mind. As long as the clarity, awareness, the alaya is there, and then the karma is there, like bank account or something like, So collected only there. But when giving the result is dependent on the conditions future. Projecting cause and projected or the achieving conditions. And performing projected result and achieved result. So this is so future how follow. So but this is actually very big subject, both the reincarnation and karma, how it does work, and how linking to the life after of another life, very important object. That's always I'm requesting to the end. So please, everybody try to check, research, to understand, judge more how it does work karma, the connections life after another life, how we are born again and again. That's very important. But today we have no much time to talk. So anybody have another questions? Not okay. So we're going to now the dedication prayers. Anyway, so that's really important. Just the last the two questions. So this just I mentioned to you future, because you have opportunity, having chance, we have met such of the really logical, reasonable teachings. Hard to meet, but you met, and you have also a chance, opportunity to freedom. What you have free your lives. What you want to learn, what you doesn't want, as your choice. And also is you have something is karmic connected to entering into of this kind of talk. So this is the good sign, as most of good sign. Of course, usually we are born in the human realm, also good sign, but not every human is good, So sometimes is if we say animal is the worst realms, but some human is more worse than animals. As more danger, than the animals. Some animals when they full stomachs, and then even like tigers, lions, bears, they are relaxed, they're sleeping, nicely. When they're hungry and then try to catch someone to kill, eating, But the human, I'm saying, human is when they feel the stomach is more danger, Really, Like tigers, lions, terrible animals, when they feel stomach, then they naturally sleep very quietly. It's peace. But hungry, then it comes the try, of course, for looking food. But human is sometimes, unfortunately, when there is a quietly full stomach, and then they're thinking they're looking around many, then want to do some different things, and terrible things sometimes. Good things also too, but so therefore is the human mind, as we say sometimes, like elephant. Elephant can be two. One is a completely tamed elephant, one is a completely untamed, or the anti-tamed, or the wild elephant. So a wild elephant or anti-tamed elephant is a most one danger of animal. Strong and very, activity and destroy everything's hard to control. But if you know how to control, how to tame the elephant, wild elephant, completely tamed elephant is most one useful of the another tamed the animals. So human mind is, if untamed human mind, wild, too much distracted with disturbing emotion, very danger, But completely tamed human mind with wisdom, compassion, and the most useful one, So therefore, our minds, you want to bring into the very helpful, useful for you, other beings, or you want to bring into the very terrible way. That is up to you, But also up to humans, very much depend to your projecting karma also. But does not mean that sometimes people mistake. Oh, Buddhism says everything is depend to the past action, karma. So what I could do, only waiting, giving the result from past karma. No, that's wrong. Okay, that's not true. Okay, the projecting karma is like seed of the farmer planted the seed. The farmer planted the seed or sown under the ground, but when will becomes the seedling, is it depend to the temperature, depend to the Fezler.
The seed?
No, seed already I mentioned the conditions. Anyway, the Fezler. Yeah, Fezlers. Yeah, so on, the waters, the temperatures, and the time, depend. So and then that means is the autumn, when you get the result, the crops, when you found that is dependent to the red seed and the red seed and red conditions. This is clear, we know. But if you're missing the red seed plant, there's no on the seed, but even only collected the waters on the fertilizers or so on, and temperature, the takes time waiting to come to the seedling, but no possible, because there's no sound seed. That's karma. But now the question is, after sown the seed completed, and that's enough to get will be giving the fruits fully ripened? No. Farmer further continuously to taking care, protect, and the temperature, everything is week, month, some is years, giving result, like apple fruit, for example, right? So therefore, this means is not only waiting to the karma what it did, but we need to collect favorable conditions, and we need to avoid unfavorable conditions. We need to go into purifications of misdeed karma, and we need to collect further positive karma add on the top of your previous positive karma. And that means the conditions. And then quickly giving the result, happiness, enjoyment, repent from your past rest. So therefore, that is we say projecting karma, depend to the projecting karma, and also depend to the achieving karma, achieving action, and the present. Achieving actions of present moment and projecting action of past. These two important. So therefore, the projecting karma is not your hand, already gone, planted already. But achieving karma is the conditions on your hand now. What do you do? So therefore, even sometimes you can damage the projecting the seed, can destroy. You can, if you get a very powerful antidote to of these purifications, Like this is a tantra way, but it's the Vajrasattva meditation with the 4 powers. And then that's why power is powerful for cleansed, for purification. Your misdeed karma in this life and past life can be cleansing completely. That is why I have chance, opportunity, attainment, Buddhahood in one's lifetime. Even a strong karma with you, like Milarepa, I mentioned you example, very strong negative karma, but he enlightenment because he get the very powerful antidote, So try to find red antidote, to find red view. Try to cultivating red practice, training. Practice means is thinking more, and something is cultivating more of the positive way. That's meditation, become familiarity. And the behavior of the good actions, of course, we did, but with pure motivation. And then it will be bring the result in this life, next life, and future, so on. So it's try. So nature, law of the karma of cause and effect, to understand more clearly, because Buddha Dharma is always logical. You have chance to judge, check, debate. Even you can debate to the Buddha if Buddha is here, but you have no chance to directly debate to Buddha, but you can debate to Buddha's teaching, We can explain to you, representing to Buddhas, what we understand, for example. So, therefore, it's your choice, what you like, But first you need to start, move from yourself a little bit. If you doesn't move, and then cannot do. So therefore, you become as a whole, your life is a wild elephant, or you want to become as a tamed elephant, that's your hand. I'm sure most of you already tamed the elephant, but however, we don't know. So sometimes who listening, those listeners is more peace, more compassionate, more qualified than as the speaker like me. It can be really, we don't know. But still can teach, no problem. Sometimes people also is a little bit stupid, they say, because he talk like this, compassion, love can, but he himself is not that much compassionate. But doesn't matter I'm compassionate or not, but what I'm saying, this I mentioned before, rely on the teaching, not rely on the person. Yeah, the fat man can teach how important to make fasting, right? It doesn't matter doctor himself is healthy or not, but he can teach how can you become healthy, right? You don't say, oh, I don't believe, I don't listen because himself is not healthy. That's not logic. He is or she is a scholar, doctor. His teaching is perfect, authentic scientific way or something logical of teaching, and then follow his teaching, not follow what the see apparent, So therefore, even of course, best is himself also. Then can show the examples, But can even the yoga teacher, physical yoga teacher, not necessary, but most I know yoga teachers are very flexible. The body is very, principle or something very, but not 100% necessarily. Physical yoga teacher, very fat man, can teach, can teach. But you understand? Okay, so therefore, it's relying on the teaching, not too much relying on the person. Okay, but if of course both his teaching and the teacher both is perfect, and that's excellent. But unfortunately, it's sometimes hard to find, isn't it? So, but speak, I'm sure, 90% is talk is from comes Dharma. So it can be they are messenger of Dharma. So if you follow his teaching, he or her teachings, then there's not many big problems, isn't it? But if you most focus on the he or her, something the behavior, the actions, and then you doesn't understand exactly, sometimes confusing for us, sometimes really they are wrong, so then it's problem. Anyway, that's why I'm talking also again. So don't know, but so we're going to now dedication prayer. Anyway, stop, okay? Sonam de thamche sipanye thomne nibe dharna phanche Sherga nanche phalo trupa sabe ansole drowa dro shu ande da du san de wa gerza chenye samba Majur semche thamche la sarje thobe gyurgo jampar pao chetar kemba no kund sambo te tebje
대다 군지 지서 달로시 개와 대다 탐제람등오 두서 샴베 자와 탐제이 ngô con la châu de ngam ba đi da ge ge za wa đi con cha zang bo je je ram de ngô kunza dorje chanche manche ni chenche sare lama yanche anji drove donde mono kamda Tena Dhamche Daje Andre Parasho Shewa Kundu lama Dharmic chunji pela Sada lamje ayonde ramzoni dorje changa kompa All right, so that is all. Thank you for everybody to joining.
So, thank you, Rinpoche, for coming here to us and share your wonderful teachings. It's the first time Rinpoche has been here. I'm very happy that you accepted the request to come. And with this, I'd like to request you to come next year as well, if that's all possible.
Okay, thank you. All right, thank you, everybody, very much to joining, and thank you also your very the organizing, everything's very successful, and also thank you very much inviting us to share this the center, to hold the beautiful. So everything's because interdependent, you know. So otherwise, it's independently you cannot do any. Everything you see is that means dependently, you know, interdependently. So thank you for everybody, for all. So I hopefully see you again next year. Okay. So she invited me. So I think it's most of your heart. So invite to me. I just guess. Okay. I hope. So I'll try my abilities.
att du ska bara säga ett par ord och sen så kommer Eliza att säga ett par ord också. Det kommer bli mat som igår igen. Men först skulle jag vilja be er att ni hjälper